Hey there everybody, good morning, I'm here. I think I'm less late than yesterday, right? Right? What time is it? 9:03, I'm getting better. Okay, so lateness is cultural. And my little town, Flagstaff, Arizona, is pretty notoriously late for anything that's not of extreme importance. I'm just finishing my very last little cup of coffee. I'm sorry that I'm finishing coffee on my painting video. It's only going to take a couple minutes and it'll give me a chance to check out what's going on and who's here. So I'm reading the live chat. Good morning, Ariella. Happy Tuesday. From Susan, says hi from Pittsburgh. Hello, Susan. Thanks for being here. Aaron's back again. Good to have you, Aaron. Okay, we've got Gaming Radion. Is that how you say that? Gaming Radion. Good to have you here. Take your time. Fuel up. Hey, you guys are so nice to me, but I know better than to take everybody up on these kind offers. It does get boring if I don't do something. Having a second cup myself. You know what? You know what I've learned about coffee? When you're having coffee with your friends, it's a bad time to make plans because you're overly optimistic about everything. Overly creative, overly optimistic. Best time to really make realistic plans is like a good amount of time before or after you're having coffee together. I think during coffee is a good time to work through the mechanics of plans that you made when you weren't buzzing on caffeine. It really helps me paint better, I know that. I'll get a cup too. Alright, Mary. Hi, Karen D. Pacheco. Hey, Pacheco, we have that, we have some friends here in Flagstaff with that last name. Alright, we've got Nexon. Cadet, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that very much. Nectar of the gods. Yeah. Oh, man. I'd be better off without it if I had never started. I don't see myself ever quitting coffee, though. Are you ready for a prosperous day? Says Wings and Things Studio. I am. I'm ready for. Thank you for that optimistic attitude. I like it. Hyper-realistic demo, please. You're the best teacher. Hey, thank you very much, Locksmith. Thank you. Do one hyper-realistic demo. Yeah. Okay. I think we could put that on the agenda for the future, but it's going to look a lot like everything I've already done, just, getting smaller and smaller with the shapes that need to be represented. Dance. Hello. Good to have you here. Handmade, homemade. So I'm guessing handmade, homemade. I'm guessing you put a lot of stuff up on your channel of homemade stuff. Sounds like fun. There are worse drinks than coffee. Yeah, for sure there are. I've had a couple of those too. Sending love from VA. Alright, Pamela Goff. Thanks for being here. From Virginia. Sly is back. Just got my first cup of coffee. He says, now I can feel human again. Man, it feels like a support group now. Coffee support group. It is a good time. Sipping on caffeine. Jibber jabber and feeling like everything you say is more important because you're buzzing. Toothless after 10 years on meth. So that's the dragon. Yeah, I didn't. Maybe that could be on the agenda today. Just clean up the teeth a little bit on the dragon. That's true. They are quite messy. I've got a few things that I want to do. All right. The legs of the men. One of you sent me an email, said, that knee looks kind of low on the figure. I agree, it looks kind of low, but I've got one side of me saying, no, it should be low because perspective. See, I'm a rule follower. I figure out the system, how it works. And I can't stand it if I have to do something by instinct and it doesn't make sense with the rules that I've identified. That drives me nuts. So I'm battling myself right now. Do I just do what looks better without understanding why? Or do I figure out why my system's not working? Anyway, I've got to adjust the knee. You know, I've got that left knee. I think I just got to pull it back. The perspective is a little twister or something. Thank you, Joe La, for saying... I hope you're not talking about me when you say, but he is awesome. I moved on to water. Gotta wash that coffee down. Hey, good for you, Val. Good habit. Very good. If the knee is low, the foot should be low too. I know, man. There's all of these things to consider with human proportion. The hip drops on the side. That is not balanced leg. Yes, yes. We have to think of all these things, you know, and as much as you know, you can rehearse it and know it, and you can think of all of these things that the body does. But then there's a moment when you've just got some that just looks kind of distorted and wrong, and you just need people to look at it and help you out a lot of the time. I think the tip of the dragon wing should be spiky. It says Gaming Radion. Okay, so tip of the dragon wing, like, you mean like up in here, or you mean like way over here? Let me know. I'll do it. I'll put spikes on the wing. You just tell me where you think those spikes should be. Hello, Ganja Nona, your I don't know how to say your username, but thank you for being here and for all of the lovely emojis. So the knee would be low. Yeah, I mean, that's my thinking. I want the body to be tipped this way. I spent a lot of time trying to tip the perspective over without actually changing the outline of the character. I just worked on highlighting the middle, darkening the edges, trying to get it to tip this way, like this side is facing up toward the light, and the knee just, you know, so my thinking is, well, if it's tipping this way, then that's going to put this knee higher than this knee, yet it still looks kind of funny. But I don't want to kill all the time. If in the end it just looks weird, I'm just going to have to try to solve it on my own time and consider all of the very valuable feedback. I missed all your streams, but love the fairy in the thumbnail. Well, the streams are posted. You don't have to miss them. They're right there. You can watch them at your own time whenever it's convenient. I'm not going to be taking them down. All right. It's time to get started. All right. We've got how many viewers? Let me refresh the page, see how many viewers we've got. I don't know why I always have to do that. It used to work without refreshing the web page. Something happened. No, we're up to 50. All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. I'm going to switch over, change cameras, pull out my detail brush, and today is going to be background. I got to get to background now. So let me kick this stool out of the way. I'll start trying to, do whatever fine-tuning I can before I move to background, because I feel like it could be a lot more of a kind of mystical, magical looking background with just a few adjustments. Alright, we're switching over to my other camera here, and so now this is what I've got so far, and I'm thinking that we need some spiky landscape. When I think dragon landscape, I think of something real hostile for other creatures. Like only dragons can live there. So I'm gonna put like maybe some big rocks and spikes coming up in the background. But I'm not gonna adjust the foreground too much. Maybe just clean it up, and then just do whatever's necessary to get it finished. I want to be finished today, so we'll see if I can get there. If it needs to be a long video, it'll just have to be a long video, but I'm going to try to do it fast. Alright. Got my same little brush I was using yesterday. Got my shirt turned inside out. I saw that there were some late comments yesterday on my inside out shirt. I honestly just think shirts look better inside out. I really do. On everybody. I like it. Remember crisscross? Make you wanna jump, jump. Remember that? Inside out and backwards, and every way to rearrange clothing was brought into style during those days. Okay, so let's see if we've got any feedback. What about the spikes? I asked about the spikes on the wing. Where is Gaming Radeon? Where is Gaming Radeon? Let me see if you said anything. We need to know where to put spikes on the wing. I think the tip of the dragon wing should be spiky. That's the last comment I got. Well, let me know. Let me know what you think about the tip of the wing. So I'm going to assume that it's this right here. So we'll go with it. We'll put some spikes on there. But I kind of feel like it'd be cool to put spikes all along. Maybe some bones or horns. I don't know. All right. So I've got the ferry. Let's zoom in. Now, while my mind is fresh, I'm going to see if I can make good progress on this. Here is my scene. This is where all of the action is. This is what the picture's about, is whatever's happening here, which I have no idea what is going on. But I know that it's more interesting than the rest. So let me get the camera focused. And I'm going to see if I can adjust that. It's not that far off. You know, I feel like I could just shorten it. But here's my thoughts, okay? Looking at this with a fresh mind, it feels like the leg is just like that leg is too long. The back leg maybe is just too long. I'm gonna fight for my original position, even though it looks weird. That it should be lower because perspective, maybe a little, and it's not that far bent up. So I want it bent, so that's gonna put this heel higher, this knee lower, but I'm gonna scoot it this way because I think that altogether the length is just too much. That's my theory. Let's see if it works. Let's see if I'm right about that. And the way I'm going to try to achieve that is just chop it off with background colors. So let me pop open my big cans. I've got these quart cans. If I switch over to the other camera, you can see. Let me go back and show you what I've got on my table here. Let me grab this camera off real quick and give you a look. Down here are all my paints. So here's my water bucket, here are my paints, and this is all background right here. These paints I used to do the background, and they're very similar to those tubes. See those tubes of paint there on my desk, and those are what I've got stuck to that palette right there. I've got the paint all ready to go. I got blobs of paint on there. So sorry about the shaky camera. I'm going to put it back in place now. And so I'm going to go to those cans of paint right now to start chopping off the edges of the ferry's leg. So let's go like this. Maybe some maroon and phthalo green, because those are opposite colors. I'll get a real quick gray. I'm gonna just pop open some lids here. Here's my maroon color that I used a ton of in this original background. It was a whole separate project where I was doing a desert scene, doing some red rocks. But see how these opposite colors just create this real gray. So a lot of the time I'll use opposite colors because I have more options than just using like a black or a white with the color that I want. If I use opposite colors, I can get the effect of black or white by combining the opposites to take away the color. But by not mixing it all the way, I also get texture, I also get some color. So just these two colors, this phthalo green and that maroon, are going to give me a lot more color diversity than just using a gray along with some shade of brown. You know, this creates the grayer shade of brown, but it also creates green and red along with it, creates these more intense versions. So, you know, just keeping my options more diverse, giving me a more complex background. So I'm bringing this over on top of the edge of this leg because I want that to go back a little bit, and I'm going to put a little bit of white on these more reddish areas to look like the desert dirt in the sunlight, you know, just a little bit of highlight. Everything is just a little bit here, a little bit there. We're always just doing a little. I'm going to put white right there. And I really don't like seeing that leg disappear, but it was crooked. What are you going to do? Now I'll put some phthalo green right here because I had some water, and I'll put maybe some, that green's not real important. I had water there, but it would be real gray. So instead of that, I do like these multiple little pools. I'll probably try to really keep that look in the picture. You know, if you mix red with this green, or if you mix, even better, if you mix the magenta with this green, you'll get a gray blue. You'll end up with a bluish color. Here, watch this. I've got some magenta around here somewhere. They call it Theo Violet when it comes in a tube like this from Grumbacher, but it's the same as what I commonly call magenta. I'm putting it up here on my mixer board that's just off camera up to the left there, and I'm just going to put a dab of that magenta in this green because it makes a nice distant reflection color of maybe some water back here. And I'll kind of leave it just above this greener stripe that's down there so that it looks like there's kind of a waterfall back there. I got to look at this straight. You know, if you do too much painting from the side, I'm used to scooting out of the way for the camera. Problem is, I look at my picture from an angle, and then my lines are not level. when I look at it straight again, I don't have a level line. Alright, now I need a little bit of shadow in here. I'm going to chop off more of this leg. I'm always using the background to carve away the foreground, and then I do the foreground in front of the background. I go back and forth because I never get it right the first time. You know, I always have to adjust. Okay, there, now we have less of that leg popping out right there, and so now it's time, let's put a little more of this green and get this waterfall coming right across like that. This is the way I did the waterfall, was just white stripes going down. That's how you make water cascading. Put it below your shadow. You got to put it below the dark spot on the water. Then it creates the light. The light that's hitting the water as it ramps out and has air pockets behind it. There we go. Now we've got water falling over something behind. I've chopped off the edge of the leg a little. And now, look, I got maybe, I don't know if I'll chop off that a little. Yeah, I'll chop off that one a little bit too. So let's put some black and white in there. Let's just start from scratch. There we go. We don't want to see that, so I'll just get rid of it. And this was the shadow. You know, these little details, if they seem to follow through and connect to something, you know, if that line, like I always say, we've got very advanced edge detection. It's the way we understand our world. So So if I make lines pointing to other lines, it could be a real big difference maker in my picture. I don't want to underestimate the power of kind of looking for interconnected lines in my background, even though they're just tiny shapes. So now I'm ready to put the leg in place. I think I'm going to start with that purplish colored outline, so I can get that color with just some. I'm going to move here so you can see the colors I'm using. We'll go here and maybe zoom in a little more. Here, let's go like this, get a good shot of those legs. And I feel like that calf muscle needs a little more realistic light and shadow as well. Then I'm going to bring my colors down here like this. Let's get them down here so that they're on camera. That's actually not on camera. Let's see if we can get it any further. How are we going to do this? Maybe if we go from the bottom here. Hang on, give me a second. I want you to see the colors I'm working from while I'm painting. This will help to not end up being a ton of causing a lot of questions. You know, I want to make this all nice and clear. Okay, there's my colors. That's what I'm going to use. All right, give me a second. I've got my 5-year-old knocking on the door. He needs something. Give me just a second here. I'm gonna just fade to black for a moment while I take care of the 5-year-old. 30 seconds, maybe just 10 seconds. Give me just a minute here. I'm back. Okay. Sorry, all it was I just had, I'm the only one up in my house. I'm on the morning shift, so I got my 5-year-old. I'm like, Zayden, you gotta just watch a cartoon that you like or something. So sometimes he's having trouble getting things working. He's knocking on the door. Dad, I can't get Avatar to work. So everyday life here, just ordinary business to attend to. All right, let's paint. So we're going to go to the, I lost my other, let's get this camera going. Now you can see the colors. I want you to be able to see what I'm mixing. And so we'll go over here. Duty calls, indeed, it does. These are the important things, the important things in life. So I want a slightly purple color here. Because whenever, I don't know, for the legs, I did purple here because blue mixed with the reddish colors. Yeah, I wanted a purple highlight. I guess I'll go more gray for that edge light. But these edges are real important to me. I really like to have these edges show up. And so almost always, if you look at my paintings, I almost always have just some slightly different color on the very edge of my shapes, and that's typically a final step for me to put in place. Okay, I'm going to lighten that just a bit. Put some lighter color maybe right here, because it gets darker when it dries. So that's the front of one leg. This leg was here. I'm going to move it back to here. We've got to slope down for the muscle above the knee. We've got to hit the knee and then go over like that. And then I've got to go in and out again for the curve of the shin. Right there. And I already like that so much better. But perhaps I did raise the knee a little. You can see the old knee just barely to the right there. But to me, just shrinking it in this way adjusted the length of the leg. And I think that's what was not making sense for me. Okay, I'm going to bump that knee out just a touch more. And then I'm ready. Oh, I got to adjust this, that foot. Who was it that gave me a hard time with the 2 right feet? You were right, it was 2 right feet. I had to adjust the feet. Now I'm going to be adjusting them again. So, anybody that wasn't here yesterday, this is how I put together the skin tone. We get an orange, and I do it just like I paint rocks. I get my color, and then I choose whether I'm going to go to the highlight or the shadow. And I try not to combine highlight with shadow, my light color with my shadow color. They've got to stay separate, because if they combine, they get a gray, and that gray will end up appearing where the paint is blending, where it's mixing together, and it takes all of the blood out of the skin, makes it look like a zombie. So what I've got to do is just make sure that that light, so watch when I put white for the brighter part of the leg. Now this is all going to blend together somewhat. I need some gray because it's too intense, but I need there to be color in the transition. So I've got black on one side of the color, I've got white on the other side. To some extent they're all merging together, but in the end my result needs to have color between the light and the shadow. So if you let your highlight touch too much of the shadow, then you get a gray. So I can let it do some in order to get a believable skin tone, so that it's not just like primary orange, you know what I mean? But if I let it mix too much, then it goes gray where the black meets the orange. Too gray for skin anyway. And you can always put it back in if you know that that's the problem. This is the thing, is there doesn't have to be a just one order to do things in. If you know what the end result needs to look like, this is why I like to have the knowledge as opposed to just techniques that deliver good results. I like to also have the knowledge, the understanding, because then perhaps I can modify and invent new techniques based on the same knowledge. So I'm putting some lighter color right here for a kneecap, here for a calf muscle under the knee, just trying to get some more definition in that leg. And why don't I just go ahead and leave that bit of shadow, because I kind of think that looks pretty good. It looks that slightly darker leg down there. That seems like an improvement. If not a fix, it does seem like an improvement. I'm going to try to blend this edge, get that a bit more straight. The finish for me is all about these edges, so I try to get them real clean, especially on human form, because the tiniest little bumps in the curves of a body will be detected and interpreted as something, you know, and so the viewer is wondering, what is that? What is that shape? The shape looks weird, or the shape looks great. It's based on tiny things, not big things. Now I want some more shadow behind here, because I want this to come forward more. So I want to see more highlights on this leg. So to get a nice round shape, I just want to pay attention to the very consistent gradual change from shadow to light, and it makes the shape round. So if I very suddenly, like you see here, very suddenly going from one shadow color to one highlight color, it creates a 3D leg, but a 3D leg with a very square shape. So I want to see this have a more rounded shape. So I'm putting a bit of black on these edges, orange, red, just getting a brown to mix with that. I don't want black, I want brown. Let's put some more orange. I got to get just the right balance between red and orange so that it looks like slightly darker skin tone. I I like the slightly darker skin tone that I chose for this character, but I can't go too red, or it looks like a white skin in a shadow. I can't go too orange, or it looks like it has no blood in it. So I've got to find the balance. Now I'm putting white just where I already have color, and look, I'm staying just in the middle here. I'm going to go down to this ankle like that. I'll put some more orange because it feels like it's still lacking color. That orange is not too strong of a pigment, so I can really put it on there. I'm going to try to blend this a little more gradually to the edge now so that I can get a rounder shape, more of a round shape on that calf as it comes down. And then I'm just going to continue this highlight. Let's grab a tiny amount of white and go right there in the middle, right up the side of the knee, right up the side of the thigh. Oh, we got some black in it. I got that grayer color. But it doesn't matter too much, that little bit of gray in the highlight, as long as there's color in the transition. That's where I need to have the color. If you lose color where it transitions from light to shadow, then the skin tone is obstructed. You don't have the nice skin tone. But if you maintain the color between light and shadow, then it preserves the look of illuminated skin. So I'm just putting a lighter color, and this is going to get darker as it dries, so it won't be as extreme of a strip of light going down the middle, but it's to round the leg. It's to make the leg more round. I did it again. I always do that. I've got a problem. I must think that nobody hears what I say. I must just subconsciously think no one is going to understand what I'm saying or something, because I just impulsively rearrange every sentence, it seems like. Maybe it's a nervous habit to say the exact same thing in a different order. I do that. If you pay attention, you'll catch me doing it. Now you've got fuel for making fun of me, and you know. Okay, I'm going to adjust this ankle now. That'll be the last thing on these legs, is adjust this ankle. The angle of the ankle is off. So I'm going to get my white color. I've got these waterfalls. I need to see that coming out from behind because I got to chop off some. Here, let's just grab some red in there. Red, phthalo green. I've got some of that phthalo green down here in a can. The difference between what's in the can and what I've got in these tubes is a small difference. What's in the can is probably slightly more watered down, and the pigment is not as vivid because there are other additives to make the paint more durable. So what's in the can is going to have a much more durable finish because it's made for walls. It's made to take abuse. Where something made for art is all about the look. You know, it's prioritizing the bright color. So I'll use them both wherever they're needed. It's nice to have these slightly slower drying acrylics. These dry a little slower than this. So if you move to the cans, be prepared to try to increase your speed. Now I need to bump this ankle up and to the left. We're going to start with my skin color, and I just get the color of the rainbow first, which is orange, because that is brown. Orange is brown, brown is orange, brown is just dark orange. Now I'm going to take this heel and go out and maybe down a little further, because since I brought that knee back, I'm kind of thinking this will look good if it goes a little further down as well. A little black to add a shadow under this. Let's go right there and across the front of the ankle, top of the foot. Oh man, this paint is drying. I've got to add more. Let's get plenty of paint on there. Red, orange, black. Now we've got our brown. And I've got to put the foot going down this way. I'll put the foot going out from behind this one. How about? That'll be fun. See the heel, this is the bottom of the foot going down to the little toesies. Like that. We'll go here. Yeah. Well, I think that'll do. Now I'm going to take white and mix it. I'm going to just mix my lighter tan with red, orange, black, white. We're going to do an ankle right here. We'll do the back of the heel, the back of the Achilles tendon right there, back of the heel here, and that's going to go across. Let's take this and go a little further up the leg. There we go. And I need some color in that shadow. See that gray? This is what I'm talking about. That does not look like skin. So all I have to do to fix that is add color. So I'm putting some red and orange until it starts to look like it is alive once again. Now I'm putting that color down the side of the foot to create that inner arch. That's going to be going down to the big toe right there. And keep this dark brown because it's in the shadow. All that has to stay dark. And now I'm ready for some brighter highlights on there. Let's do orange, red, white, and put a little highlight there. The inside ankle seems to have a real gradual slope. My hand is shaky, so a lot of these little nicks are just accidents. But this slope on the ankle, that curve, there's a significant curve on that inner ankle, so I can get the look of an inside ankle by just putting that in place. Now I'm going to try to get this color where the highlight met the shadow again. I'm just gradually going back and forth adjusting. Okay, let's go up here and put some color right here on the front of the ankle. Goes behind the leg. Foot goes down. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that one. It's enough to make the picture feel more complete. Now I just want to put more color in this. I've got like a pure black on the bottom of the foot, so I'm adding my red and orange to hopefully just turn this more brown. Let's get color and put it right in there. Boy, this is hard. My hands are not so steady, but they're more steady today probably than usual because I did go on a run this morning and that always steadies me out. This is my solution to everything in life. You want to know my health plan? It's not drugs, it's not pills, it's not vitamin supplements. Although perhaps all those things can be helpful. I know coffee can. It's running up hills. I think most problems in life can be solved by running up a hill regularly. Okay. I'm going to put some more highlight right here, right here. All right, I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to move up and adjust these lines. I want better perspective on this. And so let me zoom out like this. We're going to take a look at more of the whole body here. Let's go about right there and focus. That was kind of intense. I was really concentrating. This is what it takes. This is what it takes to finish a picture. Bridget loves calicos, huh? We have a tortoise shell. Oh man, I grew up with cats. My mom always had cats. She had a favorite calico cat. She cried a lot when that cat died. We were a cat family. I can paint a hill, says Aaron. Hey! Alright, Aaron, hills are hard to paint. And oh, you know what I did? I flipped over. I'm reading the things and forgot to flip over here. You don't want to be staring at my ear. So I'm just taking a quick look before I move on. I want to improve the perspective now on my fairy. Just a little few touches. I want to curve the way I've got the strands of that outfit coming across the leg is kind of straight, and for me the perspective could be better on that so I get a nice movement to the picture. Hello, Noeletta. Thanks for being here. And I was going to say, Aaron says, I can paint a hill. But you know what? I'll tell you something about hills. If you paint them too steep, join the rest of us. I've found that almost every person I have ever painted with, including myself, paints slopes steeper than what they actually are if we measure them. So if you lean toward gradual slope, just talking to anybody that wants to paint mountains, hills, any kind of slope, including waves on water, there's something that happens logically, maybe in our interpretation of slopes, where we make them extreme. You get big slopes, steep slopes, big spikes. When you see, like what 5-year-old or what child goes to draw mountains and draws gentle slopes? No, they're big triangles. Boom, boom, boom. These are mountains. We're all like that. It's a funny thing, but I am still like that. I still interpret them. So I know now by experience, you go real gentle. A valuable thing to know for painting backgrounds. Are both ankles the same size, Joe? I don't know. Are you just trying to drive me crazy? No, not likely. Likely there's error in the size comparison. Arrived now. Vanya Mapos. I don't know if I said that right, but thank you for being here. Hi, Bridget. Welcome. Okay. Now, funny, this is true, says Jim Creek. Yeah, it's true. We know it's true. You go to paint something, you do it too steep. Okay, now, what I'm going to do is improve my perspective on this dress. So I've got this outfit, and I want to see some more natural curves. So see how straight this is? Sometimes I get inspired with my lines. You know, I'm having fun, but if I put some curve on it, I think it's going to be better. So that'll be a very quick adjustment. I think what I'll do is I'll put some phthalo blue on there. Let me just scoop my colors over. Where is my blue? Ah, I had it in my hands a minute ago. Man, have you ever looked for your car keys or something that is in your hand? Have you ever been on the search for something as you were holding it? Welcome to my life, if you have done that. And then, you know, someone's just staring at you really funny while you're wondering why they're not answering your very important questions. Where are my car keys? Have you checked in your hand? Or they're right in my pocket, you know, obvious places. I always miss the obvious. I guess it comes from being detail oriented. All the energy goes to the details. And you miss the small stuff. Okay, I'm just curving the lines, that's all. I want to see curved lines, not straight lines. Curving around here, curving here. And maybe I'll make a few more wildish lines while I'm at it too. So maybe some go this way. I can enhance the natural curves of the body. So if I put some curving down this way, that's going to match the natural slope that's already there on the body. So I might think about that. Let's curve that, curve this. Let's put some white in here. And I used a little bit of that they look green. Here it is in a tube. You saw me using it on the landscape out of the can, but here it is in the tube. Really the same thing. The result is the same, but this is going to be more vivid. This is brighter, just by a small amount. I've found that getting the brightest possible color is nice. It's a nice convenience, but really it's the way you put colors together that makes the biggest difference. I haven't seen anything noticeable to myself in an improved picture by having brighter colors available. They're too close to detect, you know, unless they're side by side. If it's side by side, then I can see it. Okay, let's put blue right here. I kind of lost some of my edges. I want curves in here. Just whatever brush texture it takes just to add some curves, I think is good. Maybe a little bit more in here. I'm trying to have a real gentle touch because you can real quickly get a big blob of paint on the canvas by getting too close. So I'm trying to just avoid that effect. Okay, these curves look better to me. Then I just want the highlight. I've got a sort of reflective look to this because of how bright the highlights are in comparison to how dark the shadows are. So when you make those real dark in comparison, that's when you get a more reflective look on an object. Okay, I'll put that. This is kind of an intermediate tone. I do this a lot. It's like, well, while I'm in this color, it's kind of in between this and this. I'll come up here and improve this area while I'm at it because that looks like it could use a slightly more gradual transition as well. So if I see anything else that needs that color while I'm in it, I'll just jump up and hit it. Okay, going over some of my straighter lines back here. And these look real straight in here, but I think once I'm messing with the background, it'll be easier to adjust those. Put some curves. All right. So now we've got this fairy. I feel like the legs are improved. I think one last thing. This wing, okay, here's something that I think will really improve the anatomy, is having that shoulder a little bit more shadow. I'm going to put shadow under this right here. Let's do orange. I'm going to get my skin tone again. Right here, I want to go to shadow a little sooner, because sooner as in as I make a gradient going this way, as I go this way onto this shadow, I want to get to the shadow a little sooner so that this back goes under this wing. So a little dot of black right there will be enough. I'll blend that in. I need lots of color. You gotta have that color in between light and shadow. So right here, this is a small adjustment, so I have to be careful. That black is super powerful compared to the other colors. So I just have to use a tiny dot of it to get the color that I'm after. Okay, so it's a darker brown now. I'm going to use that darker brown up here, anywhere I have it, you know, anywhere I want color in between light and shadow. In this area, I'll bring it across here. I can put it right here between the breast and the ribs. And then I can grab a tiny bit of white where I have the most color, and we can make these muscles go across the armpit. One muscle, we've got another one down here. Like that, and then we've got the shoulder muscle right there. but I'm trying to keep it darker altogether than it was. So I'm looking for my edges in between light and shadow now, just softening the whole thing, just making all the edges softer, touching anything that is an edge between light and shadow just to finish this off. There we go. So all I did was just darken the back. That's not all I did, while I was at it. I actually did quite a bit more. That was a lie. I'm sorry for saying that. All I meant to do was darken the back, but while I was there, I decided, hey, this should be darkened a little too. Kind of improved those shadows. Okay, so now I think I'm ready to move on. What do you think? She needs more blue right here. Tiny little touch here, then I'll be done. Make the back, make the curve of the back match the shadow. So I've got the outfit has a not quite consistent with the light and shadow on the skin, so I'm just going to make those consistent. There, now the shadow flows into the shadow on the back. They're more consistent. Now I'll blend that edge. I just go right along that line in between the two things to get a softer transition, light to shadow. Bring it both directions. Okay. I think I'm enjoying painting a nice body a little too much here. It might be time to move on. Okay. So, background. This is going to be fun. I'm going to zoom out and let's go like this. We've got fairy and dragon, fun relationship here. I want that happy blue sky to be replaced with something perhaps more dramatic. That's what I'm thinking. More dramatic. Ben Cornelius, I'm a cartoonist. I can do that. Oh, is my brother on there? All right. Welcome, Ben. My brother's here. Oh, it's always a good time when he can join the fun. He's a busy guy over there. Doing all the editing for me for a very good price. He always is very nice to me in that way. Can't wait to see. All right. Dragons in the distance. Great idea, Aaron. Like that. I like that idea. Thank you, Yunki. Thank you for that very nice compliment. Need a castle. Hey, not a bad idea. What is a dragon scene without a castle, right? Oh, good. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this and move to my big paints. We don't need these tiny things to do the big details. And it'll get done faster if I just take a quick drink of my now cold coffee. And let's get a bigger brush. This is the kind of brush I like to use for my larger stuff. And so, I want drama. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do here, but I'm going to start big. So I've got it zoomed out, and I'm not going to do anything small, so we can just kind of move quickly across the whole picture. I'm edge to edge on the painting. If I go up just a little, we can see the top of the painting there. Let's go like this, because I'm going to start above horizon for the first part of the picture. And so this is what I'm thinking. Oh, I forgot to get water on my brush. It's good to start with water on the brush because then the paint doesn't dry as quickly on the bristles. And paint drying on the bristles and the base of the bristles, I mean, you've experienced this, but the biggest problem that causes is it speeds the drying of the paint that hits the brush. It's drying extra fast before you even make it to the picture. I do all the little things that I can to slow down dry time, because we all know that this is an issue when working with water-based paint. So I'm thinking big grayish colored hills / spikes, real steep. You know how in, where is it? I feel like in the Philippines or in Thailand I see a lot of steep steep rock walls going up among the tropical foliage. So maybe I'll go for a feel similar to that, but less green. Just a little green. Here, let's try some. Maybe blue instead of green. I think black and blue will look like a distant green rather than going to the green. So I just put a little phthalo blue in there. Let's be brave and put a lot. And let's put some black as well. Let's put some white next to it. And I'm thinking that this is real distant, which is going to make it look real big. So you create distance in a painting. If you want to create good depth, the biggest, most important thing to affect that, the biggest effect is atmosphere. Atmosphere is how you create depth above everything else. Shape, the perspective applied to shapes, that affects it definitely. Light and shadow develops the shape, so light and shadow affects it. And contrast really affects it. But contrast is atmosphere. The reason contrast affects depth is because it's atmosphere. So what I'm going to do is put a lighter base on these shapes. Lighter down here, because these are coming up out of an atmosphere. And lots of atmosphere is going to give me a nice mystical feel. You know, it's leaves a lot to imagination. And I feel like that's an important element in something that's fantasy themed, is getting the sense of mystery in there. And now I added that maroon just because I want this to look like it's coming closer, and just enough to make it tie in with my red rocks in the foreground. Just enough. So a tiny amount of that maroon, and I'm going to cut right here to the edge of, oh, I did not mean to get rid of the wing. Here. We don't want to get rid of the fairy wing. That was an accident. When I'm up close to my painting, you know, sometimes I lose track of what's what. Okay, let's keep that wing there. We'll repair that a little bit with some black later. Okay, now I'm going to bring this right up to my edges. Just use the little corner of the brush, or I could just redo those edges also. But this is where the finish of a painting is. It's in the edges. You get those edges cleaned up, and you can get away with all kinds of imperfections in the details if the edges are nice and sharp. So now I want some white back here to create some sunlit ground wherever I have colors that, you know, like I want this to look like ground that's facing up. So wherever I see my ground color, that's where I'm going to put that light color, so it swoops forward. And now we'll just put a little bit of that color back here, gradually develop this, and I need more now. I need more of my mysterious background colors. So this is good because this is grayer color in here. I'm going to put blue. I really like the way the blue mixes with that maroon for a less vibrant background. So now I'm just using this brush to cut some straight lines. Go up in here. Clean up these edges a little bit here. Let's put some knobby shape to this. Make a couple bumps. Just a small detail. It'll probably be easier to. You have to decide which edge is easier. I'm always doing that, deciding which edge is easier to repair. So in this, my initial thought was, well, this is going to be the easier one to do. It's just It's just blurry background. So I'm just going to bring this up to the other edges. I've got black and blue, and that's going to be like a tower going up and above right here. We're going to make it up here and then coming down here. So let's cut this edge again, like that. Cut that edge. Let's cut this edge. And make this lighter and lighter as it comes down. Now here's something valuable, is having gradients behind sharp edges. If you want something to be really 3D, I'll tell you a trick. Gradients behind sharp edges. The sharp edge comes forward, the gradients go back. Doesn't matter what colors. Colors don't even matter. Edges are more powerful than colors. So if you create a blurry edge like gradient, put it behind a sharp edge, then boom, comes right forward. Now I'm combining that with the effect that gray-blue has. Gray-blue does a great job of going back. So I do have that on my side. It does have an effect, but I'm telling you that the edges are the more powerful of the two things for creating that difference. Okay, so I've got like a big spike going straight up back there. I'm going to fill this in with my light colored atmosphere. And I got to get right in between these little hairs now. Let's go zoop, zoop, like this, in between those, in between those. We're doing some serious detail work now, but it's okay. I can repair whatever I accidentally paint over, no big deal. And then let's go up here. Let's bring this light color up higher, across here. Look, we just barely have a shape appearing out from behind this scene here. Leaves a lot to imagination, but having all this soft gradient behind those edges is going to give me tons more depth and probably be a better picture for it because of how much it leaves to imagination. All right, now I've got some distant towers, and I'm thinking that we might want to see. Here, let's just put a couple more. My picture is kind of bubbling out right here, so I'm going to grab this clip, pull that corner tighter. This board is just nailed to the wall, in case you wondered about what I'm painting on. I've got a board that I nailed to the wall, and let's find an edge we can grab. There we go. And then I just stretched this with these clamps right there. All I did was just leave a lip on the edge of this board. It's been the nicest thing. I love painting right on a wall because this is my comfort zone, you know, coming from a background of painting murals. It's fun to be able to paint right on a vertical wall. Okay, so here we've got some kind of a grayish atmosphere coming down like this, and we can put these cliffs going back. So I'm going to be darkest at the top of them, so that'll be black and blue. There's blue there, maybe a little heavy on the blue, so I'm going to add black. There we go. Bring that down, down, down right here. Same thing there. You can hear how heavy the brush is on it. It's a big old brush, you know, big stiff bristles. I always get the stiffest bristles. I don't like when they have a lot of flex to them. I'm real forceful with my painting style, and so I want brushes that can take a lot of abuse. Seems like the softer bristles just get misshapen too quickly. Okay, now I'm going to add white right here where I want to see more atmosphere, and just cut off this messy edge. Go right up in here, and here's something to think about when you're doing edges in front of edges, shapes in front of shapes. Be careful not to make the atmosphere follow the shape of the object in front of it. This is something I see a lot, so I'm just going to tell you this is a big contributor to problems with depth. Is if I'm using a method like this, trying to fine-tune my picture, I'm going to take the atmosphere, go along this shape, and now I have a line for the atmosphere that's diagonal, just like this cliff. And now it looks like an object on top of this because they're related shapes. So I don't want to do that. If I want these to separate and have depth, I want to keep my gradient as though it goes behind. So I'll bring this out and do my best to paint it as though this edge is not there. It has no effect on these behind it. So this is lighter down here and gets lighter as it goes up. The gradient is along a horizontal line, not along the curve of that. So now it looks more like these are very separate objects. Okay. Now I'm just letting the brush do its thing, making different shapes up there, hoping it turns into something interesting. I'm going to put some white right in here. Maybe borrow some of these colors because my paint dried. It dried just a little. Let's get more blue. This is still wet here, so I'm going to borrow it and put it right here. And then we need the white. I need that lighter color as I go down here. This is fun here. This looks like they can merge together. Don't they look like they could be one in the same shape? Maybe they're not all just individual shapes. I could make like a valley, swoop these together. Let's go like this. We'll create a ridge. Black and blue. Let's get that darker color and go like that. Okay, right here. You can just barely see that edge, but this will bring the two things together. Maybe like they're one mass, one big mountain back there. Okay. Now, what can we do? What can we do with the background? I'm also thinking it'd be cool to see dramatic clouds in there. Let's just do it. Let's just make dramatic clouds. So here's how. If there's one thing I know how to do, it's clouds. We're going to do clouds in this picture. I just breathed on my hands because it adds moisture and makes it easier to spin my brush. It occurred to me right after I did that might look weird. It's magic. It's very magic. Makes it grip the handle of the brush so I can spin it. Okay, let's go like this. I want clouds up in here with some light popping through, so these are going to be my light spots. I'm going to make gradients going up, and it needs to be more blue-violet because cloud shadows tend to be that. So I'll put red and blue up in here. Red and blue. Let's see if we've got a purplish color. Let's get some more red. Like this. And so now wherever I have a dark color, we need more. Let's get more of that. Blue and red. Let's get more. I'm going to have some fun. Let's get red here. I just want this purple color, real dark purple color that red and blue makes. And it doesn't matter if it's a lighter blue. You know, maybe you've got a cobalt blue, maybe you've got, what are some other blues that are out there? You know, there's some lighter, even if it's like that there's a cerulean blue. Never mind. Whatever blue. blue and red are going to make something like a cloud shadow color. You can rely on any blue and red to do it. And then I'm going to put the highlights coming down. And those are just going to be white. And I got to decide if I want to add some color to them. You know, maybe I'll add some color to those highlights coming down. So this is the light shining through the sky, and I know it doesn't look like much right now. Doesn't look like it. This is the technique that I use in my stormy ocean scene. If you want a more depth demonstration of doing an entire sky like this, then you can take a look at that. I'm thinking I'm going to add this color, maroon, because I like it, and it's in this picture. So I'll add this for the light. And now edges that, so light color I'll blend downward, and dark color I'll blend upward. So let me borrow some of this dark so I can make a few more edges in here. Dark color blends upward, light color blends downward. Just think of it as a pattern, not as clouds. Let's start blending. Dark color upward, light color downward. Like this. I'm going to put white in here. Get more of my light color. So at any point you can reapply your colors. But see that edge it leaves at the top? I'm not going to blend that top edge because the light color goes down, not up. So let's go white. White right there, white right there. As long as I just blend downward on these shapes, then we'll have some interesting things happening in the sky. And we've got a color combo that really helps to sell it. You know, it really helps to tell the story of the layers of clouds there. We've got light and shadow colors. All right, now I'm going to try to get rid of my big fat brush strokes. So I'm just targeting wherever I have real obvious hard shapes, edges that look like brush strokes, not clouds. I'm just trying to get it softer, but I'm still paying attention to my edges. My edges that are the undersides of clouds where the shadow is. Let's grab this dark color and put it over here. See, here's a dark edge, so I'm blending that dark edge upward, not downward. I did drag it down a little bit, you know, the edge started to get lower, but I'm keeping it sharp. Okay, blend this, blending the dark up into the light. Light comes down, dark goes up, and it creates shapes in front of shapes, puts perspective in my sky. And I just look for any edge I can that needs to follow that pattern. Now the paint is starting to get tacky, so it's a good time to just drag that brush right across, soften everything with a real big quick stroke like that. Okay. There's a start to my dramatic sky. I'm going to put more white now. Wherever I have that red, I'm going to put some more white. And I'm just going to work the details a bit. So white, maybe a tiny bit of that maroon color I was using. Same thing I've been using all along. White, maroon, red oxide I've heard it called. This color is the color of rust. Let's go here and blend down wherever I put this. So it's just bright areas in between the dark areas to create light popping through the sky. And if I go real bright in just a couple little spots, real bright, near the top, wherever I have a light section already, it needs to be lightest at the top. So lightest up here, lightest up there, there, just at the top of a section. Helps to enhance that effect of the light coming down through. Let's go straight up right here. Maybe we've got the perspective. We're looking up at the sky and there's like a split in it right here. And I can do that because this is surrounded with that red color already.
like that. We could bring this one down, zigzag it between these two clouds. Now I'm just blending these down. Light color goes down, dark color goes up, just follow that pattern. Okay. Now maybe even that dries a little more. I might do that sweep over it, but this still is a bit wet for that. I'm just going to do it anyway. Okay. Okay, here we go. Just softening the edges, that's all I'm doing. Just taking the shapes that are already there, making the edges softer. Now I think it'll look cool to go back to my cliff colors. Alright, here's where that castle can be. This is the castle way up on the hill. Right here. Let's do black, blue, and white. Lighten this color to be consistent with the rest. I got to get my color first. You don't want to start blending your color right out everywhere before you've got it where you need it to be. You know, I keep it in a pile. It stays wet. This is my workflow, is to really keep that color in as small of an area as I can before I start blending it out. So that's a great place to put a castle, I think. Here, let's zoom in. I'll show you how I do a castle. Let's go like this. Let's go up there. And focus. Man. I gotta drink something real quick. Okay. So a castle. What is a castle going to look like? I need geometric shapes. If I just make a little bit, it'll be enough. It'll be enough to be convincing because this is distant. So I just need to make this look too geometric, too perfect to be a rock. So straight edges, straight edges. Let's put a straight edge here, going right down behind this wing. And then I'll straighten out this edge a little bit, going this way. Easier to go down past the edge and then wipe it off, like this. Nice thing about that real durable paint out of the cans is you can do that. You can be real abusive to it. And then I think I'll put like a little roof on this. So I'm just using the point of this brush going zoop, like that, and then go down here. It would be smaller to use. It would be easier. It'd be small. It would be easier to use a smaller brush. But I don't want to. I just want to get it done while I'm in this bigger brush. Let's put a couple little peaks on here. There's another little point on that one. Let's notice that I kind of flatten my brush when I do that. I make sure I've got a good sharp point. And I can get little shapes. Like that. And if I get a tiny bit of black, or maybe just black and blue, just a little darker, a little bit darker. So let's go black and blue. I can put some little details in here. Let's go like this. Put some winders in there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I don't know why I count them when I'm going across. It's just habit. Okay. I'm just putting enough windows to make this feel like a building, you know, and I'm going to put some skinny ones at the side, so it needs shapes that are more flat. So I tried to really scrunch the shapes this way as I get on the edge. Then that'll look more like a round tower coming down. I think it'd be cool if there was a shadow here. Put a shadow in between the towers. Just a darker color. And a valuable thing to remember with shadows is that they are affected by the atmosphere color more than the light. So I want the shadow to be bluer than the light. Think of it as the shadow having less light to contribute to the mix, and so it becomes more the color of the atmosphere. All I did was grab a little of this magenta. This is that real purpley pomegranate color, and I've got too much, so I'm going to scrap it right there. And I'll make this shadow more purple. Because atmosphere, you know, when blue light mixes with just about anything, tends to turn more violet color. So I'll just have more of a believable looking shadow color if I put that purple in there. Okay, let's get this darker color, maybe go across a few times. I don't know what I'm making, just some shadows, texture, something to feel like, you know, a real object back there, just adding. That's enough, really, right there. Is the more I add, the less it leaves to imagination. So I think, you know, imagination is your most valuable tool to use. Is get the imagination on your side. All right. So I just want to finish up my sky and my shapes. Get this to flow back here. And for that, I think I'll put more of my sky color in place. Let's get the blue and red and white. Create more of those purple clouds overhead. Like this. And then I'll get some white and put it under that. You can do colors in any order. You know, once you know what colors need to be there. This bit of sky that I'm doing right now, I'm not doing in the exact same order as I did this sky over here, but I'm blending my dark purple color upward. I'm blending this light color downward. I'm just applying as I go now. And then I'm adding that maroon color where I see the light. Same end result, just doing it in a little different order. While I'm in that color, this is a good highlight color for a castle. Let's put some ridges going across. Like this. Maybe a ridge right there as well. And we could put some light on the roof. Just a light touch. Wait, I've got the light coming this way. Oh, I almost made a blunder there. We don't want the light coming from the wrong direction. Let's go like this. There we go, a little bit of light striking the edge of the castle. Okay, isn't that fun how just a little dot of color, it can be so sloppy and it still is interesting, even though it's sloppy. So, you know, I feel like for this reason we don't want to overestimate the power of details. You know, when it comes to creating a world, you know, details are, you know, they're for good-looking bodies, you know, but for creating an environment, you know, there's so much more in just paying attention to the bigger edges and colors, leaving a lot to imagination. Okay. Let's put some bright white right here. I'm going to pause here for a minute. My brain's getting tired trying to make this. I got to take a break and look at some of the chat. Okay. More shadow on the clouds, blue and red. Now I just want to blend this with the rest of the picture. So I'm putting my cloud shadows coming across. We've got kind of a red violet hue to this sky now. It's pretty fun. I like it. Let's go over here. All I'm doing is just blending edges. I just quickly go through. I'm not thinking so much as I do this. Exactly where I want clouds, exactly where I want any details. I'm just looking at my system. I'm identifying areas of light that are not blended so well, going downward, areas of shadow that are not blended so well, going up. Very systematic about it. Okay, now I'm going to put white right here. My goal is just to tie these together. So let's bring this color right over here, like this. Bring these colors over, maybe put some perspective on these clouds as they go down lower. Some more horizontal shapes perhaps. Blend the bottom edge of any light spots. Top edge of any dark spots. There we go. And I feel like I've confused people in the past by showing that strategy, but not explaining that everything gets blended somewhat. You know, I blend up for the dark spots, down for the light spots, but everything is getting blended. It's just that it gets blended a lot more on those areas that I specified. How about a little more blue on these shadows coming across? Bluer shadow as it comes down away from that light. And let's put it coming in here. I just want to tie this all together, get the light. Sorry, I got distracted there. I was thinking, oh man, did I just paint off camera again? I just caught it. I was almost painting off camera. Okay. That gave me a good scare. Okay. I was going to be really sad if I did that. I don't want to back up and repaint it. Okay, white right here. I'm just blending the sky together, putting that light color coming down out from behind my darker shadow color. Behind these hills. Let's go like this. And red and blue for my shadows. Yes, I do love it. I just take a look at your comment, Susan. I do love what I do. You can tell how I get lost in it. Well, you gotta let me know if I'm getting too lost. You know, I don't like leaving. I don't like being alone in this weird world. I don't want to leave people behind. Okay. All right. We've got sky going behind the hills now. I think that's pretty sufficient to build the rest of the background over on the other side of the picture now. So here I can just do the same thing. Put the I need to develop. Look, that's very sloppy there. So here I'm just going to paint over that and adjust after I get this painted. We're gonna adjust the edge of that dragon's back, get it to look more finished. So there's my maroon color for some light coming out of the sky, reddish colored light. Got a little too much of it, so I'll put it over here. coming across there. And let's put some blue in, and maybe some magenta to make it real purple. Because I need a little extra purple. That's why I use magenta this time instead of red. When the blue hits that orange, it's too far to the green side. Too far toward the greenish blue. So magenta pulls it back more extremely to the purple side than red would. Okay. Just putting my colors in here behind the dragon. That match is good enough. I can just kind of fade it over. That gets some interesting side light on that cloud. And so now I'm a little bit dark on my orange color. So everywhere I've got the orange, I need to see a bit more white. Right here, here, there. And notice that I went so much more horizontal here than I did here to just create more distant perspective. Now I'm doing a light touch, trying to preserve the shapes I've got while blending them all together. Here's a dark spot, so I don't want to blend it down. I can drag it down, but I still want to see more of an edge. And where I've got a dark spot, we blend that upward into the light. Lighter there, and it looks like I'll have to come back in with some dark cloud shadow color right there. Let's put the blue and red. Put the blue and red, and it'll just match. You know, here's a answer to a question I get a lot. How do you match? You know, when it dries and you want a gradient, how do you match the color? I match it by matching the color. I just put the same colors down. I'm very familiar with what I used in order to get to that color the first time. So if I put blue, red, and white on here, blue, red, and then add some white, then it's going to mix. It's going to mix to the same color that I've got out here. Just needs to be lighter. And the small amounts of difference are all over my painting. You can see that the entire painting has overlaps in colors, and that's the style. So I don't actually need an exact match to create that sky, because the entire sky has those inconsistencies in it. Okay, let me see what's going on the chat. We've got a little more time left, and so I'm gonna whip out that left hand of the dragon and remind me if there's anything I'm not finishing here. Moody sky, yeah, you know, just drama. Drama goes good with fairies and dragons, right? You've got a Zoom watercolors class. Very cool. Kathy. Love to see your new kitties, Jim. Jim, you got kitties? All right. Maybe that's what the cat conversation was about earlier. Blue by Girl's Face, Joe Noeletta says. Okay, blue by Girl's Face. Ah. I missed it. That's what you're saying. I missed it. That is undeveloped background right there. You're right. I need to get that. So, what could I put in there? Interesting. I just got to make it more gray, don't I? Here. I'll just... Okay, I won't do it off camera. You're right, though. I got to get that. The horn. Oh, yeah, the horn. Oh, man, I got to get the horns. Yeah, we want some good looking horns. That's what dramatic dragon. He's got to have his horns going up into the sky. You definitely want that. And yes, the list is going to be very long. Yep, Kitty's talking. Yeah. All right. Yeah, like I said, we were a cat family. I'm done. I'm done with that. That's not the life for us now. They're cute. I like to admire the cuteness from a distance. Okay. It's time to move on. While you're enjoying the conversation about kitties, I'm going to do the more boring stuff on this picture because that's what the finish is all about. Just getting all those little things in place. And so, oh, we got FedEx here. Sorry about the background noise. We got the rumbling of a big box arriving at the door. I'm thinking through it, and so to finish this picture, I want to see some of the foreground close in like this, like it's coming through a valley or something right here. And maybe over here I close it in. I want to see this bigger rock maybe come forward because I want to add to the drama. Everything I do to finish this picture, I want to add to the drama. So just a big mysterious environment, big shapes, deep valleys. So let me flip back over to the other camera. Let's go like this and cut back here. We're going to change the angle here. Let's go. We've got that side to do. We've got this side to do. Oh, look. Oh, man, I'm loving the way that looks all together on camera. I got to tell you, if we're being honest, it does not look this good in person when you're looking at the full size. But I'm digging the color combo. Isn't that so much better? This sky with this, it feels like the lighting is appropriate now. This is like a softer light. Overcast sky, I like it. Okay, so now to finish this off, I got to get my thoughts together. Let's put more atmosphere in here. We got to have that. Let's finish that spot. Blue, red, white. We got to do the bit of atmosphere by the fairy's face. That's true because we've got a bright blue area in there that doesn't match the rest. Go here. Clean up the edge of that wing. I like how I can just use background to really clean up edges, you know. Make these edges nice and sharp. And then if I want to make them look more 3D, I can always just take a little brush, add colors to the edge. Yep, there we go. That's my process for finishing these. And then we did talk about adding claws on the wings. That's a fun idea. And I need that hand to look better. I think it'll be time to switch to a slightly smaller brush in order to do the other things because I need more accuracy on some of the edges. But the last thing I'll do is come down here to the water. Okay, let's put a little bit darker colors so that the sky goes through. Put this violet color. I just need some of this darker color coming through here so that it looks like it matches this over here. Put some darker little cloud puffs in there. Okay, that's good. I think that's enough. It'll darken as it dries. That's wet, that's dry. That's why we see that light difference there. And so now the last thing I'll do with this big brush, I'm going to do those horns, but I need to make this water look better down here. So let's zoom down here right now and adjust this area. So we've got this fun kind of paradise beneath the dramatic rocky crags. And I need to have all of my, you know what these scuffs are, you know what all these marks are on here? It's where I stretched another canvas over it and primed it, and oh, it destroyed that painting. It just put this, so these are marks where the paint bled through the canvas. So real quick, the way I'll change that is by putting my turquoise color in the water, so just blue and green. Let's get that in here. And let's add some reflection of this dragon. So we've got this dark arm right there, and the reflection of that, I'm thinking, what color am I going to use? Let's go for red. Let's see what happens if we use red. This water is so blue, I want to get kind of a purple color where I have this reflection of the arm. So blue and red, and then I'll add the green or turquoisey color to it, and that'll kill the red color quite a bit when I add that green. Let's just see what this does. Man, look at that red color. I'm even going to go more. Look at that. Then maybe a bit more blue. Let's try this. I want to get a good dark purple. Bring it right up under this hand. And now I'm going to put green under there. Green and white. So let's do green and white to lighten it. I'll put green wherever I have the, I'll put white wherever I have the green is what I'm trying to say. Go like this. Water, you know, if you just keep, this was a whole project I did earlier. But if you just keep the strokes horizontal, you don't really need to get too much into the science of the shapes of water. I like to, you know, I like to get into the science of all the different shapes that we see, what they are, how to read it, how to reproduce it. But the most valuable thing to remember is just keeping the shapes horizontal. Keep them very horizontal, and who knows what kind of good results you're going to end up with. And scrunch the shapes closer and closer together as you go higher toward the horizon. Okay, now I'm taking this lighter color and I'm going to go right in here and create some edges. Little bits of water reflecting a different light as the what would be the shape of the waves are turning direction. I'm just making some horizontal shapes in here that break apart that edge. Okay. And then I'm going to go back here and do the same thing. And we've got this big dark shape in here. So I'm going to put lots of dark color down here. So there's that green. I'm going to move my water over. Green, and here's my red. Look, just red and green makes a good reflection color. Red, green, they're opposite, so I just need to make sure that they mix so that you don't see either one of them. But it creates this nice, very, very muted purple color. Green and red. Phthalo green and red, for that matter. It's not quite the same as just green and red. So this would actually be the reflection of the neck from where I'm standing. And I would put the, you know, since we've got a downward perspective on that, we might see the reflection of the light coming between the head and the neck, coming down behind that head, hitting this water, and we might see a separation here between those. So I'm not necessarily just painting the image upside down. The shape of reflection is just an upside down image in the distance. But when it's in the foreground, it's good if you're able to try to think through the three-dimensional upside down image. You know, like if you had the exact same three-dimensional shape turned upside down, and then you paint that in the water, that's the reflection. So the reflection takes on three-dimensional form because of that. Alright, now I'm putting white wherever I have my green spots. I think that's a little bit too bright. I don't want it to be so bright, although it is fun. It's fun to see that bright colored water in there. Here's my green. I'm coming in here, putting a few waves. I can use broader shapes down in the foreground too. Maybe a little more angle on them as well. See bigger shapes like this. Here we go. Let's go over this way. And now I'm going to do this. This paint is all real heavy and wet still. I'm going to go like this to blend some of those shapes so it's more of a gradual turning of the water. Look, it puts like those teeny tiny ripples. Isn't that cool? Look, that's an accident. But I like the way it looks. All that texture on the water. It's from the pulling of the brush. We'll say that was a Bob Ross moment. We had a happy accident there. But in my world, there definitely are mistakes. We have those. Okay. We're gonna go right down here and adjust that blue now. So I have my reflection color back here as well. We've got all of the landscape being reflected on the water back here. So I'm thinking perhaps this is a darker reflection, this is lighter. Now let's do red again. Let's see what it looks like if we do red mixed in with the green and add enough white that it's lighter. It'll be lighter than the arm reflection. So here's some whites. And I put kind of a lot of that in there. Here, let's just scrap it over there. So this is a much grayer color where we've got brown reflecting on green. You know, we don't want to see a real vivid color in there. It's the light coming under the arm. The arm goes up here into the water, so that's what I'm trying to get the effect of. Just seeing that reflection color back on the shoreline. Maybe some more red because I'm imagining more of this orangey dirt landscape coming down in here. Alright, there we go. Then the body of the dragon blocks the rest of this view, so it's going to get dark again right in here. We have to have our nice dark shadows on that water. A little bit of light coming through, you know, light coming down. Where would it be? We've got a shadow of the arm coming across. That's darker. Well, I don't know. I think believability is more important than accuracy in these situations. So as long as I've got it dark enough so it looks shadowed by the body, and I think we'll be good to go. Yeah. So someone said this earlier, and I think this is a good moment to demonstrate it. What would the position of the sun do to the reflection? So the position of the sun, the angle of the light, what would that do to the reflection? Nothing is the answer. But I want to show you how I think about what the sun is doing in contrast to the reflection. The reflection is just the three-dimensional upside down world past the surface of the water. But the sun can cast a shadow on this water that we're going to see a lot less of. So it's a lighter, less extreme shadow. Okay, let's go over here and let me cut to the other camera. We're going to put a shadow right across here for this arm. So I'll put the red right across here, and let's put some green so that I get my darker color. Just red and green to get a darker shade. And this is in perspective. The shadow is in perspective on the water. So I don't want that to be expanded like the exact mirror image. So this is shadow versus reflection. The sun casts a shadow on the water that I would just barely see. So I'm making a darker strip going right across here, but not that much darker, just a touch darker. Like that. Now this is a shadow of the arm, and I've got it in perspective. So the next thing I want to do to make that real believable is put enough light on the other side so that I can see it. I really want to see that shadow showing up. So maybe a touch more white back here. Get some more reflection. Or just get some more light hitting the water that's behind. Goes this way. Then more light on this side. Maybe I just go a little more contrast. But look at the difference. Reflection. Real obvious, real dark. Shadow. Now this depends on a surface. Is it more reflective or less reflective? If this is not very reflective, maybe the shadow is where we see all the contrast. But on water, this is about water, we're going to see a lot less contrast between the shadow of the arm and the surface of the water than we will on the reflection of the arm. So now, to finish it off, I need to put the highlights of brown to show that light is hitting this arm. So let's put a brown in place and white highlights going across here like this. And how about some black to turn that more gray? And I'm just going to make my brush strokes the size that I want the scales to appear. You know, I don't need to think real hard through where I might have scales or plates or whatever kind of texture. But if I just put patches like this, and I'm even making them in rows, look, just to create the impression of a more scaly arm, because I don't want to spend a ton of time on it. That comes down here, and this color is going to get a little darker as it dries, so I think that this will blend in and look like a pretty good gradient going down into the shadow. But up here is where I'll put a little more white, because this is direct sunlight. And so I'm just really scrunching the shapes, making them horizontal, coming across this arm. Like that. Let's put some light coming across this thumb. Over the top of it. There. So this is the difference. This is what I wanted to show, is the difference between light and shadow and object and reflection. Two different things. And so we don't want to be confused on what the direction of light would do to a reflection. Reflection is just the upside down image. Just trying to blend these shapes. Look, there's a muscle in the arm right here that goes up on this crease and then down like this. I like having that crease in there. Boy, I could just keep going on and on this, but I better not. Down here, I need to have this waterfall doing something. So here I'm going to put that darker color. So this is the face of that water coming down off of that lighter area. I'm going to put more yellow in it right here, actually, yellow and black. And maybe some of this to get a browner color where maybe it's going over some rocks. Blend it into there. Deeper, darker shadows. This is what was already in there, but I'm just putting it back now. So we've got some darker browner shadows, and I think more black would look good. Let's go right here with more black, way down here near the bottom. Less light. It's going down off a waterfall. But then right where I have that shadow that I'm going to put on the more red areas, because I want it to have that kind of shifting hue, translucent look. Now let's put some lines going like this to make like the water flowing over it. So what I'll do on that spot now is put the water falling over it again, because I lost that. This is how you do it. Just white on the brush, shooting out the direction you want it to go. And don't do it too much, because you lose the difference between the colors. It blends more and more. So this is a technique that looks better if you do it less. And I am the king of going too far. You know, I love to experiment, always trying to learn new tricks, so I always go too far with it. But the less you work it, there's a balancing point. You know, it looks good if you work it a little bit, get some shapes that you like in there, but I better pull off of it right now in order to preserve the look of the cascading water. Now I'm going to put it coming in at different points. Comes in here, zigzags back out. This just adds perspective if I make these shapes scooting in here a little bit, really make it kind of spike in. Now it's shooting out over this edge, and I'm going to put black and blue in here, right down here, black and blue, because I want to create some more atmosphere, some more mist in here. So I'm going to take this and blend it up like this, and then I'm going to put white right here. Hang on. Oh yeah, you can see my picture. I thought I was off camera. Let's go right here, white, and this is just going to be my mist coming out under this overhang with all my pretty flowers. Here, let's just paint it over this spot that I destroyed with that other painting. There, and then this blends into that shadow too. So I have two light colors going toward the shadow, and I leave just a little crevice in there so that it really looks like it goes down deep. Here, and then blend these out softer. And it looks like we need to get a little more purple as we go back, to blend in with these rocks. So let's grab magenta. And put that a little bit higher and going straight across so that it creates, you know, better perspective, better depth. Okay, we've got that magenta in there, and now I'm just going to put some or maybe a tiny bit more of it. Put this purple color in here, and then I'll just use my fingers to smear it up here to blend it into the rest of the picture. There we go. Done. Edges. Watch the edges. This is where the finish of the work is in the edges. I'm going to grab a tiny bit of white now and go right off this edge. Like that. There, now we've got kind of a misty cloud going up. I like this feel of it. Where does it go? Strange mix of like a paradise-ish environment with that environment in the background. So, last two things. Oh no, I need the horns. Oh man, this is taking so long. I wish I was a faster painter. No matter how fast you get, know, there's always need for more speed. I didn't mean that as a coffee-related joke. Always need for more speed. Okay, let's see what's going on at the live chat. Hand spinning for Misty effect. There you go. Yeah, all you need is the right color. All kinds of techniques work great if you've got the right color. Sounds like you're having fun. Yes, I am. Susan, but that was for Susan. Man, oh, I thought my brother was talking to me. I was like, yeah, all right. Yes, we're having fun. For sure. Keep painting. We got time. You are fast. No, if you paint too fast, you'll lose us. Yeah, well, there is that. You know, I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose you. Joe, answer Ben's phone. What? Answer Ben's phone? Hello. How's it going? Hey, how's it going? Why are you calling me in the middle of the stream? Okay, what's up? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, you got my attention. You got my brother. When my brother calls, I answer the phone. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. Okay, okay, good idea. So, yeah, okay, okay. So Ben says, he says, hey, when I need your attention, I'll just call. He's watching out for the comments there. All right, so let's see what I missed. He got my attention. Sean Bartu says, do you wear your shirt inside out so you don't ruin it? Yes. Yes, I do. That is exactly why. And because I think it looks good. He called to tell you your shirt is inside out. No. No. No, he didn't. Do you think fairies can get fat? What? Are you sabotaging my live stream or what? What? Yes, I just now saw the comment come through. Yeah. Can fairies sometimes... Yeah. Yes. Yes. But I don't think, you know, if we're trying to be fair about terminology, you know, I don't want to be the guy that decides when fat is fat. Let's just say, can fairies have more fat than other fairies? Why not? Of course, yeah. They can be fat. Do I need to paint a fat fairy to make some people feel better? Are we not representing the fairy population fairly by just putting a nice thin fairy in place? Absolutely, but I think it would be harder to fly because I don't think that the wings get bigger as the fairy gets fatter, and so it's very important to maintain aerodynamics and lightweightedness in order to fly. So there would be hang-ups if you were a fatter fairy. If you were a heavier fairy, there would be some hang-ups with that. But maybe you would be good at other things. All right, we stopped painting so that we could talk about whether fairies could be fat. That's great. Now, what I'm going to do to make this picture more final looking, I don't like this. I don't like this bright thing right here. So I'm going to put some darker color on that. Paige sees right through me getting flustered. She's like, you're doing just fine, Joe. Yeah, okay, that's good. All right, any other questions we need to address? Any other important questions that we've got to address? Chunky fairies fly closer to the ground. Yeah, just ask Sandra. If you have any more questions about it, sounds like Sandra knows. Joe, the dragon's claw doesn't sit on anything. You need to put a rock under it. Yeah, well, I meant for it to be right in the water. So that was the plan. And I think that I just didn't do a great job of representing that. So let's put the dragon's claw. Yes. Oh. No, I won't paint over it. I won't paint over the paint. All right. I won't. I won't. I did it once and I regret it. I felt sad when I painted over that. No, we're saving this one for sure. I might even fine tune it after the video's over to really make it a keeper. Okay, so now we're gonna put the white right here. Watch this. This is how I put the hand in the water. Little white right there coming across the claw. Maybe some right here. A little bit of reflection in here. There we go. Just put a little bit of water texture right up to the edge. And then let's put the reflection color in here as well. Okay. Maybe I should adjust the form. Since the subject came up, it is annoying how much of like clothing industry goes right toward the skinniest women. That is an annoying thing. Maybe I should have made a heavier fairy. Would have been nice. Much more realistic. Much better representation of the population, huh? Okay. Let's put the green and red blending right into this. Hopefully this gives me the look that I wanted of the reflection. Bring it higher up on this too. Reflection right up to the hand. And then I'll put the water shooting out from both sides of the claw like this. Choo, choo. Okay. You know who would like this painting is my dad. Maybe I'll give it to my dad. He would really appreciate that. He was always a big encourager of the fantasy content, you know. He always enjoyed that. Okay, maybe a little more shadow in there. Let's put some more of that purple. Just a touch, then I'm going to be done with this spot. I just want to make that hand look like it's in the environment there. Some reflection on that white water. Like that. Maybe we put a little bit in here too. Just little spots. I don't know, maybe there's some white water ramping over some rocks. Yeah, cool. Okay, that's better. There, now you see what I'm going for. Now let's put some light hitting the bottom of this arm too. Since I'm in this color, let's go like that. Since it's kind of above the water, you know, we'll add some of the green color as well. Some of that green color to this light. There. You know, everything in a picture is a light. So the more you can think about all the different lights, the better. So right here under the shoulder, I can put a little light coming off the water. Like this. Everything's a light. You got light everywhere. Okay, now let's put the claw in place right here. We've got a big old claw. I got to scoot this camera a bit. I'll scoot that over just a little so that I can be out of the way. As I zoom in, this needs help. Right here, that spot needs help. So we're going to go right here. go there. That'll be good. And let's put yellow and black. That was our color for this foliage. That was our color right here. That was nice of Ben to look out for you guys, wasn't it? He made sure that those made sure that those important issues got addressed. That was good. I like that. Very good. Okay, I'm putting some dark foliage in between. I want this just to be all together darker because we've got kind of a darker picture now. I'm going to put my brown color on these knuckles. So here's my quick brown. It's that maroon with some yellow and then some black. And we'll go like this. We'll just make this a rule for these live streams. We'll just make it a rule that whenever Ben calls, he'll be the lookout guy. Whenever Ben calls in, it's because I need to pay attention to someone's comment. He'll be looking out whenever he's able to join. He'll be my lookout guy. Okay, I'm putting a little bit of highlight on that knuckle coming over. And then I'll just continue down. Actually, here, let's do the other claws. We got a claw here. Let's put some shadow right in between the claw and the skin. So we'll do the same thing here. We've got some brown. Let's put yellow on top of that for the highlight. And that's funny. That's good. That's the proof that something's not pre-recorded right there. So when you get someone to call in, put the guy on the spot. Okay, this is live. This is what we do. Okay, black right here. Putting shadows under these fingers, and I'm going to put the green in between them. I'm going to use shapes. Remember I was talking, the lines will force the perspective really well, so we can just use curved lines to cause these to look like fingers that are curved back. Leave darker areas on the edge, and then I'll put the highlights on the colored part in the middle to make these look real rounded. So I'll put a knuckle right here, I'll put a knuckle right here. Those will be my bigger highlights. Put a knuckle right here, and we'll put a knuckle right here and here. So now I've got my more three-dimensional fingers by having those different elements in there, curving the lines, highlighting the knuckles, and leaving shadow on both sides to bring it forward. Okay, now claws. We need, oh, I forgot this one. Got to put a thumb in there. Let's put this hand. There's my brown. I'll put yellow on top of that, like this. Put black around that. Go like this. And we'll put a highlight, just a lighter color right where I have that color already. Curve it around the shape of that finger, and go back there. There, now we got a hand coming forward. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? Seeing that big hand gripping, and it's coming so far forward. Just for effect, I'm really going to amp up the highlights. Just for artistic exaggeration of a valuable emotion setter. Hands always are a good emotion setter. There, just put more highlight on it to pop it forward a little bit more. Then I'm thinking I want to see darker colors on this object. that he's gripping. So let's put nice dark cliff colors right in here. Plenty of black. Maybe I'll still use that maroon color, but I'm just going to use more of this real dark shadow. And then we've got yellow to bring forward, and maybe a little green on top of that. This is a record. This is a record for time right here. 11:18. We're on 2 hours 11 minutes, and we've got 50 viewers. All right. Let me refresh the page and see how wrong that is. I always have to refresh my web page. 93 viewers. All right. Thank you everybody for staying with me. Well, I have fun painting this picture. Okay, I'm putting green in between the claws now. I want darker shadows. And I'm gonna put highlights on the middle of these sections. This is going to disappear. It's on that clip, so this will be off the picture, I guess. But it'll look like these claws are really scrunching in on that if I have dark shadows right here at the points of the claws. So we'll put more black right here, right here, right here, and then we'll just put the highlights of the green in between those spots. So yellow and maybe a small amount of green and white right here, and then I'll just use little brush strokes, short brush strokes to stir it all together, and hopefully we'll still have enough color. If I put too much white, then I lose my color, but when it stirs into that green that's underneath, I think I'll still have a good amount of green in there. Let's grab it and put it up here. Just a couple little dabs will do, and then we've got our deeper kind of grip look to the claws. And then I'm going to break up the shapes a bit so that it's not just those perfect triangle shapes. Green is real simple, light and shadow. You know, I add colors, I do all kinds of stuff to other color schemes, but when I'm adding shadow to green, I can just add black to it. You know, when I'm doing green leaves, if I just make the green I want, add black, it makes a great looking shadow. I don't always do that. So I add blue a lot I'll use blue a lot for more distant things because I can, but where with other color schemes, I'm always adjusting the hue as I get lighter or darker. Green, it just gets blacker as it goes into the shadow. There, we're just putting a little bit of bright leaves on that spot. Maybe there's a hill right here. Maybe there's some texture on the slope. So I'll just put the slightest brighter edge there to add some diversity to it. And then I'll come down this way. And it's time now to put some rocks. Okay. I guess that was a little extreme here. Let's go more of this green. There we go. Not quite as much of that. Not quite as much of that deep maroon color. Put that there, maybe some yellow, some little leaves catching the light. Just a small amount in the shadows here. I'm not going to add white to those. I'll just leave them dark green. And then when this red color meets the green, it makes the perfect shadow where they come together. So see, I put that phthalo green on there. I go down to here, and that creates the perfect shadow between the, I didn't know how to finish that sentence, creates the perfect shadow between the foliage and the dirt. How about some white right here? This is a good place to put tiny bits of an edge just to have it pop forward. And I'll go over it a few times. I don't want a bright white here, just a real soft, just light enough to pop that edge out. Let me grab this darker color and pull it right up to get rid of all the bright colors on that edge. Just a tiny bit of light coming down under there. Then we'll put some white where I have this red. And here's our dirt coming out from under the foliage. Here, let's go down a bit. I'm getting too low. My bad. My bad. We got pure white down here. Let's go like this. Wherever I've got that red, I can just put that in there and get kind of a rocky mud look coming out from under all of these leaves, coming down to the water's edge like this. There we go. And I'm undecided on what I want to see in here. I think I'd rather see dark than light, so I'm going to just put more shadow. Some more shadow in here. A dark object. It's got a dark theme, this picture now. So we're going to go like this. Like that, and then we can put some reflection if we just add the watercolor to that shadow. Blue and green. And we probably want some white if it's not real deep water. You got to think about the darkness of the underwater. So how much light is making it into there. If it's shallow, it's brighter. If it's deep, it's darker. So I'm adding some white to lighten it a bit as I make the reflection of this rock that I just painted. And now I'm going to blend that into that black shadow, like the reflection just goes right under that rock. Right there. All right. Okay, horns. Let's get the horns made. Let's put I'm going to get a bigger brush for that. I'm going to use my medium-sized brush. I don't like that one. I think this one's going to work better. That other one was starting to flare out. I don't like to use them when that happens. Okay, so let's go like this. Oh man, I was off. Sorry. I painted all that reflection down there. Sorry guys. I was painting off camera again. My bad. Okay, let's zoom out a bit. This is what we've got so far. We're almost there. We're almost done with this crazy looking picture. And so now I'm going to go up to the horns and finish those off. Let's go in here. Well, you saw me do the reflection on the other parts. I did it the same way. I do feel bad for doing that off camera. Long spiral horns. All right, cool. Okay, let's go like this. Black first, and really I'm just gonna repair what was on there. You want long spiral horns? Oh, man, that feels weird to me, but I guess we could. There's a shadow under that one. Like this. Zoom. Shadow under that one. Like that. Okay, now we've got our start shape. Okay, so let's put some white to get the lighter top color. And this is going to spiral around right here. This is going to have a light on it coming over the top of this one. We'll have black underneath there. Okay. Let's go like this. Okay. All I'm doing is separating the undersides from the top sides to get that three-dimensional shape. And so now I'm thinking that we go further because you want long spiraled horns. And that is kind of a fantastical idea for a dragon. So let's keep this horn bending around like this. And it's going to come around and spiral again, maybe like that. Come around here and go up again, maybe like this. And we got to put some light on it now. So let's go like this and put these highlights going around, around, around. Like that, and then around here. Top of this one, we're on the top again here, and then we switch back to the top again right here. All right, there's long spiraling horns. Maybe I should fatten it up a little bit. Okay. Let's go like this. I'm just making the horn a little bit bigger, so it looks like it can really actually be used for something. Let's go like that. Okay. Need some water on my brush. It started drying. Let's blend those together. Let's put this, maybe some black. Oh yeah, there we go. That black finished it off. Really add some body to it. Like this. That's not bad. I think that's a cool look. I like the spiral horn. The more I work on it, the more sensible it becomes. The more it feels like a very dragon-y thing. All right, cool. Let's put some shadow under it right here. Really get some three-dimensional depth to it. Okay, other horn. So how do you do this in reverse? Less like any particular horn in reality. Yeah. Well, this is how we do things. We experiment. Okay. All right, let's put a black shadow on both sides of this one. Yes, I think it's fun to experiment with different horn shapes, for sure. All right, this is going to come forward. Okay, opposite direction. Let me think this through. Okay, it's going to go there. This way, here. This way, here. Bum, bum. Ba-da-ba-da-ba. Okay, we're going to do it like that. It's going to go around this way and then go up like this. Okay. I just got to put some good light and shadow on this to really make it make sense. Man, this is a challenge, and thinking in 3D is trying to make horns curving opposite directions at some angle other than just sideways, you know. So we're going to go like this. We'll make this highlight go down right here. Okay. And I've got to put black under that for the shadow. And that shadow has to come across here. It curves up right here and kind of gets curved around on the horn. Okay, we got that part of the curve. Now we're going to go around this way and get the next part. This one goes that way, this one goes this way. Oh, but this has got to be behind. Like that. And then it's going to go like that. I think I've got it. I think I've got the shape figured out. Okay, let's go down here. Okay. That's pretty fun. The big horns are very dragony, I have to admit. Long spiraled horns. I want to make this curving down a little more. Like that. Okay. I think I'm almost done. Causes them to look more reflective when I get that black on the edge right there. If I put more stripes of color, you know, like maybe we put white right on the edge of that black, see, we can get a reflective edge by just doing strips of color. A lot of the time it doesn't even matter what color you're putting, as long as you just put strips of color along edges. You get some cool looking reflection, because you never know what kind of light might be somewhere where you don't see. Let's put white right here. All right, we've got our big swirly horns. This is final touches now. This is where I've got to call this picture done. We've got to settle for what we've got. I feel like he needs a dark shadow right there on his eye going up to the horn. Just feels right. I want to see more of a shadow right here too. Mary lived next door to Cornelius' family. Ram devil horns. Yeah, well, you know, I don't think that's fair to take a beautiful creature and associate it with the devil. I really like the spiraling horn shape of rams. And so I choose not to associate it that way, you know, but it is. Because it's an animal that gets sacrificed, you know. Old traditions sacrifice those animals, but I just admire the awesomeness of the shapes. You know, I'll tell you something funny. Talking about devil associations with dragons. We're a church family. Grew up going to church, and I was always drawing dragons. Always drawing dragons on the church bulletins, all the announcements and everything. And that got a lot of looks. It did. And my parents were very gracious. My parents were always very encouraging, very gracious. And they just allowed us all to be very, very creative. And they seemed to recognize that we didn't have any harmful intent in doing it. And so I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful that my parents didn't give in to the societal pressure of what others perceived. It was, you know, I love the church. I still go to church. I like it. But I feel like that was judgmental. I feel like that was unfair. As I was being creative and enjoying what I was doing, there were folks ready to shoot it down because it didn't fit into, even though I was leaving everybody alone. You know, people just always want to say what you should be doing with your time, with your life. I think it's good for us to avoid that for each other. But funny story, you know, really took people aback when they looked over and saw me drawing this kind of stuff. Okay. I'm just putting some highlights where I imagine there being more muscles, definitions. We could go on and on like this, but I really like the jaw, the neck muscles. They inspire me. You get a sense of power from all that. Oh yeah, the teeth. I think the teeth could be cleaned up. Man, look at the mood that adds. The jaw. Completing that line. I love it. I love the way that looks. Here, let's tidy up the teeth just a bit. Let's take the maroon color in here, and glad you stood your ground. I didn't know any other ground. There wasn't anything else to do. I just kind of hid. You know, I just hid away from the troubles of the world. The drawing was my escape. And there was so much I didn't understand that when there was confrontation, I just ran away into a drawing. And that was it. And that was one of the things that just caused me to really excel in drawing. That's where all of this painting started, was with drawing. And it was because that was my getaway. That was my hiding place, was creating the world that I wanted to be in. Let's put a few little dots of white highlights in that. We got to get rid of some white, so I might as well do a reflection on the nose. Let's go right here. Choop, 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 choop. Tiny little areas of light on these more pinkish colored gums. And then we can put a cleaner edge on all these. So here, let me zoom in. Okay, seriously, this needs to be the last thing. I've got to stop. I'm going to crash. But it's so fun. I am thoroughly enjoying painting. I really am having a good time here. Okay, so we're going to put black to redefine the shadows. Then I'm going to put white to redefine the teeth that I want to be there. And I'm just taking a little more time now to put teeth in place. So we'll bring this up into the shadow. We'll take this edge, bring this down into that shadow. Let's bring this down into the shadow. Clean edges. Just like I said before, finishing up a painting is all about trying to have clean edges for me. Well, where I need them. Wherever I want to see those clean edges. So I just have a brighter color toward the middle of the tooth where it might be catching the light. So this one, maybe right here, I put a brighter color. Maybe right here on the middle of that one. Here. Let's put some light on this one. There's a tiny bit of that red, kind of that reddish gray stuck in my brush. So it's adding some extra color to the teeth, but I don't mind it. It looks pretty good. A lot of the time that happens, my colors mix, but it usually just adds like a good kind of complexity effect to the picture when I get that small amount of color from something else mixing in. Okay, more shadow right here, just fine-tuning this sharp shape of this tooth. Let's bring that down, grab some of that white. That tooth could be real big and sharp. There we go. Let's really enhance it. If we put straight lines right along the edge, we can get it to look kind of reflective. Get it to look like a big shiny tooth. Let's see if we can do it. Just lines. Like that. Lines here. Now you can see why I like this kind of brush. Okay, gray right there on the edge. This is kind of the back edge, so I'll darken it a little bit. There we go. We've got a little more of a shiny look to the tooth. We've got one here too. Let's not forget this. Get that long, sharp tooth coming down. Let's go right here. Zoop. Okay. I'm concentrating. I got quiet because I'm concentrating. We've got these intricate little shapes, you know, and I really want this to count. Let's put this tooth going down right here. Oh yeah, look at that. That dark edge. I love that dark edge, man. Love the way that looks. Okay, just taking my edges, trying to blend them out a little bit onto the rest of the face, tie it all together. And how about, see this orange light? What if we did, I think this would be a cool effect. Just a last little touch, an idea. T-Rex tooth? Yeah. Okay, never used a round brush. No, this is my comfort zone right here. But that's not to say a round brush would not be a great tool. You know, I just think it's good to use what keeps you in your comfort zone, you know. Maybe I said that the wrong way, you know. Whatever seems to work good for you. So I want blue. I'm going to put that same glowing light coming right out of the mouth down here. Wouldn't that be cool? Let's put blue right there. Blue here. I'm going to put blue wherever I have that black. Let's replace that with blue. Right here. I'm putting it on pretty heavy because I've got black in there that I really need to get covered. But I think this is going to be a fun effect. I'm going to put blue glowing out of the mouth. Right there, right here, there's a black spot. Right here. Maybe one in here. Okay. And then I need magenta, where it starts to go up in here. Got to start turning it purple just like we did on the face. Right here, right here. Okay, now we're ready. Now we're ready to put white in the middle of all those colors. Just enough to mix with that blue, get a real vivid blue in there. And then here, hopefully it's a real bright purple. Like that. Let's put it in here as well. I'm going to get more of that magenta. There, it's glowing. His mouth's glowing. And then we'll make it bright right in here. Yeah. Good question, yeah. Oh yeah, Prince. Yeah, thanks. Oh yeah. Yes. That is a very good question. Not yes, I'm going to make Prince. Yes, that is a good question. Here's my hang up with that. Is I never feel like I've got something finished enough to do that. But it's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all to make Prince. To be honest, what's going to happen to this painting is it's going to take a back burner while I work on all my current ideas. It's going to sit in a pile in storage somewhere until I do something with it. But I get motivated by popular demand. So if enough people say, Joe, do this with that painting, then it'll probably happen. You know, this is really a new territory for me, breaking into doing creatures and people, or better, more like fairies and dragons. But doing human form and animals, it's not the typical landscape, so I never really found demand to reproduce those landscape things that I whipped out and left on people's walls. But you know, when we're talking about things that maybe have a little more of a technically refined feel, a little more like visually stimulating, perhaps is the word I'm looking for. Maybe there's more of a market for reproduction in this. I could totally see this being on my Trapper Keeper. A word I haven't used in a long time. The Trapper Keeper. But you know, there was always Prince. I met a guy, another artist, that he did that. He did real well for himself, selling the rights to his prints. He would do a painting, and that painting makes money every time the company that bought the rights sold a printed version. But it was a tiny bit. It wasn't a lot. So I was always kind of torn about, well, do I really want to ever go that route? I was unsure. But it's a good thing to think about. Yeah, let me know. Let me know your thoughts. If somebody wanted to buy it right out, I'd probably sell it. Because I just get inspired to paint more, and I don't like to spend too long on something that I've been there, done that. It's really fun. The process is fun for me. And once that process is over, it just becomes a happy memory. And I just prefer to leave it there. Leave it there in the past. Move on to the other pictures. Very hard for me to pick up the brush on old paintings for that reason. I'm just putting little details. The teeth. I'm realizing that I'm very much liking the effect that the more refined teeth have on this picture. So it was worth putting some details in here. Okay. I think we've about reached a good stopping point with this picture. This crazy picture. Craziest thing I've painted so far. How about some gums? It needs a little bit of gums on this still. Zoop. Right there. Let's put a little bit more of this to get the effect of the lips really being pulled back. We've got the gums in place. Put some highlight on there. Like that, and then put the black chin. I didn't really finish his chin. His chin is hurting for some attention. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good thing to talk about. Yeah. Perfectionism. Good thing to talk about, perfection. Okay, got it. All right. Yes. And I am such a perfectionist. So I do like to think that I have learned to better target where to place my perfectionism. So I happen to feel like this is a focal point and more deserving of perfectionism. And it seems like if I pick a spot on a painting, all of my paintings have this in common. I pick my favorite spot that's worth the perfectionism. But if you look at my paintings, you'll find this a huge extreme of going really tight on detail in one spot and just like, it's almost like I dropped it. It's like I dropped the ball and just missed the unfinished parts. Because I noticed that if there's one part that just really draws and becomes about that, then the image is just better for it, and people are very forgiving. Now, I'm not saying I should leave so much unfinished about it, but the power of just choosing that one spot that's worth the detail. This is worth it. That, not worth it. It's not worth the detail over there. The castle, definitely not worth the detail. So there's so many things in this that are not. But when we're talking about, a sexy human form or something where I've really paid close attention to the curves, worth the detail, or something that has emotion, relatable emotion. Eyes, looking at eyes, definitely worth the detail. So I think it's wise to pick your battles. I'm not saying I always do that right, but I think it's wise. So I want eyes to look at this and really spend most of their time coming back to this spot and saying, oh wow, yeah, look at the expression there, look at the how powerful those teeth look, whatever they're saying, you know, the things that I'm trying to accomplish. This is the spot. So this really is the finish line for me on this picture. I don't know. Maybe I'm just full of hot air, because it's true that I could go on forever. That is the truth. And I'm guilty of endlessly doing that. But if you're getting results, I think it's good to be surrounded by people that can tell you when the details are not producing results anymore. So, in summary, to summarize my opinion on this matter, it is surround yourself with people that care about you, because they will be very helpful in helping you to see straight when you're blinded by the details. Now, to be fair, I think I really did speed through this painting. So it's not exactly like I'm taking forever to do this picture. I did it all live, and I scrapped some of the details that I otherwise would have done for something that I would want to look more finished. And so for me, it would be normal to take 2 weeks straight really focusing on a painting. But this, in between all of the live streams, it's definitely not 2 weeks. Maybe it's a full day after all the live streams. And so my typical time would be longer than this to come in. But still, all the same is true. Surround yourself with people that can make you see straight and tell you when you're killing yourself for no reason. Like that, we've got some moisture in the mouth now. Oh man, that dragon's mouth just gets worse and worse. Okay, I'm gonna put a beard on it. I'll just leave it black. Okay. Now, there are more things that I would do to this, but I am satisfied with this. I am really glad that you stayed along for the ride, and that now I'm wrapping up my final strokes as far as this video is concerned. So if I work on this some more, then I certainly would post the progress, and you know, maybe it's worth thinking about how it might be turned into something that could be duplicated, something that could be reproduced, you know, a print or something. Be fun. Maybe put it on a t-shirt. Something, huh? The fairy's missing her other hand. That's a little bit of a problem. I kind of wanted a hand. It could just be back behind the wing, you know. It could just be out of sight. So we don't actually need to paint that, but I think it'd be good to have something in there. Yeah, and we got this little bit of white right here. Lots of little details in here that could be tidied up. Here, last thing for real. We're gonna go like this. Thing is, I don't have a lot to do today. So a super long live stream is not the worst thing that ever happened in my life. This is the last thing we'll do, is just do this little bit of ground coming through here, put some maroon like this. There. Now when eyes go right to this spot, when they're looking at this, it's not going to be as messy looking. We'll do some of the negative space in here too. Like that. Alright, I'm going to wrap it up right there. We'll zoom out, see the final picture. We got to see what the final thing looks like now. Let's go like this. feel like it's a big improvement with the lighting. To me, that's the biggest deal, is the overall lighting of it is better now. From a distance, the wing seems to be coming out of her head like smoke. Change the value or highlights of one or the other. Ah, good call. Yeah, you're right. I definitely see that. Here, let's put some gray on it. Yeah. Here you go. Some black and white. Black and white. Let's put a little bit of red in there. There we go. The gray or distance color. Sometimes you can just change the color. You don't need to change the value. Just go more gray and it'll take something back. So I didn't really need to change the brightness up. Well, I did. I lightened it. That's true. I changed the value and the color in this case. Yeah, you're right. It looked like it was kind of coming out of her head. But you've got to let me stop now. I know that there are other imperfections. Just one last thing. Only 2 more times to go. Yeah, that's what that means, doesn't it? All right. Well, you know, this is a disease, having an audience not being able to stop because you know people are watching. And my family, my brother can attest to this. Once you've got an audience, it's almost like you could just run yourself into the ground showing off as long as they'll keep watching. That runs in my blood. Hey, you're welcome. Always my pleasure. Spikes on wings. I did say we were going to do that in the beginning. I got to do this fast. I'm sorry. Man. Spikes on wings. You had to say that. You had to say that. Okay, but if you get hate letters from other viewers, that's on you. But I did say it, so I have to be accountable to my words here. So here's what we're going to do for spikes. We're going to put that color in place. We need some black on there. And we're going to go like this. And we're going to put some shadow first. Let's make it swoop down like that. And maybe put a couple spikes there. Let's put some white right in here. We need a nice shiny reflection for those spikes. Like this. This is good. A long live stream is good because we have to skip Thursday this week. And I feel a little bit bad doing that, so. There we go. Here, let's put some little ones. Let's just say that these dark spots are spikes too. Okay, let's put white right here. There we go. Now we got spikes on the wings. One more right there. Just one more happy little spike. Okay. Reminds me that this edge here is a little bit messy. Let's get that while we got this color. It's just an edge. All it needs is just a straighter line. There we go. Okay. All right, please don't torture me anymore. I can't sleep. If you tell me something else it needs, I'll have to do it. You have to let me not do it. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Super fun. Really had a great time. I think this is the best one I've done yet, even though it was a very long time as far as live streams goes. It's super fun putting this together with you watching. Loved all the ideas, the input. I'm glad my brother was here to give some good mediation for all the stuff I miss while I'm getting lost in the painting. That was cool. Maybe you put a bird in the sky in the background. Don't. That would be awesome. When you come to Flagstaff, I'll let you put the bird in the paint. Have to go. Thank you for the lesson. Hey, thanks for watching, Els. This one was kind of a marathon. My pleasure, my pleasure. Good to see you as always, Sandra Thompson. All right, all right. What have we got? I got my brother calling me. Hey. Oh, well, this patch right here, this thing. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we got that. I did say I was going to address it. People are going to start feeling sorry for me. Here, they're going to start saying, guys, we got to leave him alone. Look how skinny he is. And that's what's going to... Yeah. This is why I look like I do. Okay. Yeah. He doesn't stop. Okay, thanks for telling me. I'll be glad in the long run. Okay. Let's get it. Let's get it. Alright, thanks for not letting me off the hook. That was a good call. We just need blue, black, white. Right here. And let's go right in here. Actually, while we're at it, here's a better fix for this. Here's what's good about this. What's good about this is that we can just get rid of this. Okay, this really is the last thing. Okay, I forgot we've got some other plans today. We got to get to those. So I can just make this spike not touching the head. Like this, by cutting the edge of it off with my atmosphere colors. Add that little bit of perspective. Separate those two things. Alright, now we've got our atmosphere color going right here by the fairy's face. Got to bring it right up to that edge. Ah, yes. Definitely an improvement. Let's put the white down here. And we can break apart that background too. Look, this will go down behind the arm. I always try to avoid parallel edges. When I want things to stand apart, I don't want two parallel edges. Like that. Here, let's just make the shoulder sticking out. There we go, there we go. Now we've got it. Okay, once again, time for me to go. And this has been fun. I'm going to be in trouble for hogging this room. My family shares this space. You know, I've been hogging it for a huge long time now. I've got to get out of here. So thanks for watching. I'm going to be back on Monday. So Monday, 9 a.m. We're going to do this again. Mountain Standard Time. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot. Hertog von Berkshire, I really enjoy having you around. You're always leaving nice comments. Very encouraging. Like your sense of humor. Alright, we'll see you guys. Thanks a lot. I'm ending the stream. We're going to fade to black in 3, 2, 1.